On today's episode of Chicago Bears Now, breakout candidates. I've got 5 Chicago Bears players that could break out in the 2024 NFL season. We'll also take a look at a few honorable mentions as well. Here is my criteria, and this has been the same criteria for a few years now when I do this episode, of what qualifies as a breakout candidate. Number 1, rookies are not eligible. You can't break out if you haven't played yet in the NFL. Number 2, you can't be beyond your 4th year of your NFL career. Cole Kmet, he's been around long enough, but he's already broken out anyway. DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, these guys aren't eligible. And by the way, the reason for that is you kind of know what players are at that point in their career. Very rarely does a Geno Smith break out in year 10 or whatever, which brings us to our third point. Haven't truly broken out yet. Usually you do that by your 3rd or 4th season. So, in other words, 2nd, 3rd, 4th year players who haven't broken out yet, that is who is eligible, and the Bears have a lot of players in that category. So let's start going through my list. All right, my first guy here, and this is my biggest breakout candidate and the one I believe in the most to break out. That's cornerback Tyrique Stevenson. Tyrique Stevenson, and I've made this note a few times now, I believe was the best rookie corner in the NFL over the final 2 months of the year. I thought he found something. I think I want to say in that Carolina game on Thursday Night Football, something clicked. He started getting hands on more footballs. He started playing with more confidence. He's been a willing tackler from day dot, which is what I've liked about him. He's physical as hell. I think really him doing that got a guy like Jalen Johnson to tackle more. But you look at his first 9 games versus his last 7. He missed 1 game in there in the middle of the season. It's just not even comparable. Like, forget the tackling category. Interceptions to pass breakups. First 9 games, 0 picks, 5 breakups, and that's while getting targeted a lot. 7 touchdowns allowed. Giving up 70% completion when targeted. 0 forced fumbles. Second, last 7 games, so 2 less games. 11 breakups compared to just 5. 4 interceptions compared to 0. Gave up just 2 touchdowns. 46.9% completion when targeted. He also forced 2 fumbles, including 1 against Green Bay in Week 18. Again, I'll double down. Tyrique Stevenson, in my opinion, was the best corner in the NFL among rookies over the final 7 weeks. And I expect that momentum to carry over. Now, it doesn't mean you just snap a finger and you pick up where you left off. You got to put the work in. You got to keep doing the right things. But he seems to be a leader on this team. I mean, 1 year into his career, he's being asked as one of the veterans, 2nd-year player, to go have dinner with Caleb Williams during his top 30 visit. Like, he's pretty established, like 1 year in. And I think the way he finished and the energy and physicality he plays with, he plays Chicago Bears defensive football. And I'm so bullish about the guy. I think he's going to be very, very good this year. Who will lead the Bears in interceptions this season? It would not shock me if it was Tyrique. And that's not a knock on Jalen Johnson or Kevin Byard. I think Johnson's a better player than Stevenson, but Johnson just doesn't give up many completions. But Stevenson will take more chances, which leads to more takeaways, which I love that if he's your second corner. Johnson, they don't even throw at him because it's hard to complete passes. Stevenson, he might get beat some. He's going to take the ball away too. Like, that's a good combination to have. Number 2 here, Darnell Wright. I think the right tackle could end up being one of the best right tackles in the NFL once next year concludes. I thought he was the best rookie offensive lineman last year. I mentioned Tyrique Stevenson. I thought he was the best rookie corner the second half of the season. I thought Darnell Wright, who had pretty good PFF grades, not great. I thought he actually played a little better than how they graded him out. I think what lowered his grade is a little grabby, which led to penalties. He did give up 7 sacks. But he held up pretty damn well, and especially when you add in the context of he basically played with one arm for like 6 to 8 weeks. He had a bad shoulder injury, and his right arm was kind of just dangling, and he played through it, so that shows me toughness, fits the culture well, and he's got all the tools to be really good. I mean, he basically shut down Aiden Hutchinson twice. I know Hutchinson got him late in that first matchup when the Bears collapsed, but that was after the collapse. I mean, the game was basically over. I think Darnell Wright could be a top 5 right tackle in 2024. He's got the skills. He's got the physicality. He's just got to clean up, those occasional lapses, right? Like he had those rookie moments where it's just like, dude, you just didn't even get off the snap there. Like just small things, technique things. If he does that, he'll have like 1 or 2 snaps a game where you're just like, that wasn't a very good rep. He cleans those things up, those mental things. He's got it all, man. I mean, I remember Corey Wooten saying this guy's Trent Williams on the right side, when he was evaluating him coming out, and it's like, whew, that's a bold thing to say, but you see it. You see the flashes. Now it's about being a little more consistent. Speaking of which, you saw flashes with this guy too, but not nearly the consistency Wright gave you as a rookie. Gervon Dexter Sr., we're going to talk about the importance of him breaking out here in just a moment. But first, obviously, even though he's not eligible for the criteria of breakout candidates for me, you hope Caleb Williams has an awesome rookie year. And if you want to represent him while he hopefully does that, you should do so. Get his jersey today, chatsports.com/Caleb. We got the navies, the whites, the oranges, all available to pre-order right now. Get your jerseys in plenty of time before the start of the NFL season. Chatsports.com/Caleb. Get yourself a Caleb Williams jersey today. All right, Gervon Dexter Sr. Did some good things last year. 2.5 sacks. I think he had around 20 pressures. He definitely flashed, but not to the point where he ever unseated Justin Jones as the starting 3-tech. Well, Justin Jones is gone, and they didn't replace him. So what does that tell you? That tells you Gervon Dexter is going to start, unless something weird happens. Unless, maybe Zach Pickens beat him out. Who knows? I don't think that's the case, though. I think Dexter's going to start, and they're going to give him this opportunity to be that guy. And quite frankly, the Bears need him to break out, because if he doesn't, who's going to fill that void? Is Pickens going to all of a sudden be this awesome 3-tech? Are you going to go sign somebody off the street at this point? There's not really a notable name out there at 3-tech. Of all the breakout candidates we discuss here today, they need Dexter to take a leap the most. Like, if Tyrique Stevenson is just what he was last year, especially the second half, that's a very good starter. Like, you don't have to have him improve. You want him to, but you don't have to have him improve. You need Dexter to improve. You at least need him to be a decent starter, a guy that can play over half the snaps and not be a detriment. Like last year, they didn't trust him to start. He flashed, he did some good things, but he also had a lot of rookie moments too. Pad level wasn't where it needed to be a lot of the time. Didn't fire off the snap in a timely manner a lot of the time. Can Gervon Dexter take a big leap? Can a guy like Eric Washington get the most out of him heading into year 2? Guy looks like he's in great shape. We'll see if it happens. Is Gervon Dexter ready for a starting role? So that's what the Bears were projecting here. Type Y for yes or type in for no. I think it's arguably the biggest question on this roster heading into this season. Next up, Jaquan Brisker, strong safety. These next two are going to have a lot in common. Brisker is pretty established. You could argue he falls outside the criteria because, in a way, when you're a 2-year starter and play pretty well, you've kind of broken out already. But I still think he could break out and be like that top-tier type of player, become the leader of the secondary, which the void is left with Eddie Jackson gone. Now, Kevin Byard's going to come in and offer some leadership, obviously, but Byard's probably not a long-term piece here. Like, at most, he's here. He's on a 2-year deal. Maybe he's here a 3rd or 4th season, but that's probably at absolute most. Brisker, if he takes another step forward as a player and as a leader, which I think he started to as a leader late last season, he could be like a Pro Bowl, like be here for 10 years type of player. Like, he feels like a guy that could be a Bear for life. Like, that's the type of breakout you could see here in 2024. He's already a good player. Can he be a great player? We'll see. I think it's in him to do that. If you want daily Bears content for free, news, rumors, segments like this in the season, we got previews, live watch parties, post-game shows. Look no further. Hit the subscribe button. Turn on notifications. We got you covered here on a daily basis. Like I said, Kyler Gordon, same kind of boat as Jaquan Brisker. Yeah, he started 2 years. Yeah, he definitely improved last year from year 1. So, in a way, he has broken out. I'm almost cheating my own criteria here. But you could still see that breakout to, like, really, really good status, right? Like, these two are good starters. Like, they're good players, right? Like, especially last year for Gordon. He definitely struggled as a rookie, but kind of finished strong with the strong final month. Had a better year last year, even though he did miss 5 games. But these two guys, if they take a big jump and they're like Pro Bowl caliber players, you're talking about, is this the best secondary in the NFL? Like, they could become top players at their positions, which I would still qualify as a breakout. Because right now, is Jaquan Brisker a top 10 safety in the NFL? Might be a top 10 strong safety, but overall safety, I'd say no, pretty clearly. Kyler Gordon, is he a top 10 nickel? There's only 32 of them, so maybe. But, like, I think he's got the tools to be top 5 or even the best nickel. I mean, he's got tools to play outside. So if they make that type of jump where he's a top 3, top 5 nickel and, you know, Brisker's a top 5 strong safety, top 10 overall safety, like, yeah, that's still a breakout to me. So I wanted to include those players as well. Which Bears player is most likely to break out? I want to know from you. Who is it? Is it someone I haven't mentioned yet? Maybe it is, which is why I've got some honorable mentions here. Roschon Johnson, the reason I didn't mention him is because right now, what opportunities are going to be there? Now, obviously, in training camp, he's going to have a chance to beat out a Khalil Herbert, but Herbert's pretty established as a proven RB2. So if Johnson's your RB3, kind of tough to project a big breakout. Tyler Scott, similar. Like, if they didn't draft Rome Odunze, I would have had him as a headliner breakout, but he's your wide receiver 4 at best, so it's going to be a little tough. Same with Velus Jones, who I mentioned at the bottom. Velus probably falls more into a make-or-break category. This is not a make-or-break year for Tyler Scott or Roschon. Velus Jones, year 3, hadn't done much. Yeah, it's make-or-break. Zach Pickens, I think opportunity is there. I mentioned if Dexter doesn't take the jump they like, maybe Pickens does. Terrell Smith, kind of like Tyler Scott, you know, CB4. Like, is he going to still get some split snaps with Tyrique Stevenson? That would surprise me with the way Reek finished last year, but I know the Bears like him, so he'll get some opportunities. But to do a full breakout, kind of have to be a full-time starter, and I don't think that's going to be the case with Terrell Smith. All right, that's going to do it for our breakout candidates video. If I am missing somebody, let me know. My name is Harrison Graham. Hit that subscribe button for more content.